Every summer on the Discovery Channel, Shark Week inundates its eager audiences with spectacular documentary footage of sharks hunting, feeding and leaping. Debuting in 1988, the television event was an instant hit. Its financial success wildly exceeded the expectations of its creators, who had been inspired by the profitability of the 1975 blockbuster film, Jaws, the first movie to earn $100 million at the box office. 33 years later, the enduring popularity of the longest-running programming event in cable TV history is a testament to a nation terrified and fascinated by sharks. Journalists and scholars often credit Jaws as the source of America's obsession with sharks. Yet as a historian analyzing human and shark entanglements across the centuries, I argue that the temporal depths of sharkmania run much deeper. World War II played a pivotal role in fomenting the nation's obsession with sharks. The monumental wartime mobilization of millions of people placed more Americans into contact with sharks than at any prior time in history, spreading seeds of intrigue and fear toward the marine predators. Before World War II, travel across state and county lines was uncommon. But during the war, the nation was on the move. Out of a population of 132.2 million people, for the 1940 U.S. Census, 16 million Americans served in the armed forces, many of whom fought in the Pacific. Meanwhile, 15 million civilians crossed county lines to work in the defense industries, many of which were in coastal cities, such as Mobile, Alabama, Galveston, Texas, Los Angeles, and Honolulu. Local newspapers across the country transfixed civilians and servicemen alike with frequent stories of bombed ships and aircraft in the open ocean. Journalists consistently described imperiled servicemen who were rescued or dying in shark-infested waters. Whether sharks were visibly present or not, these news articles magnified a growing cultural anxiety of ubiquitous monsters lurking and poised to kill. The naval officer and marine scientist H. David Baldridge reported that fear of sharks was a leading cause of poor morale among servicemen in the Pacific theater. General George Kenney enthusiastically supported the adoption of the P-38 fighter plane in the Pacific because its twin engines and long range diminished the chances of a single-engine aircraft failure or an empty fuel tank. You look down from the cockpit and you can see schools of sharks swimming around. They never look healthy to a man flying over them. Hold tight and hang on. American servicemen became so squeamish about the specter of being eaten during long oceanic campaigns that U.S. Army and Navy intelligence operations engaged in a publicity campaign to combat fear of sharks. Published in 1942, Castaway's Baedeker to the South Seas was a travel, survival guide, of sorts, for servicemen stranded on Pacific islands.